Okay, here's my report from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. I got here, I think, March the 7th or the 8th from Thailand, and we went into lockdown on March the 18th. So I had maybe 10 days before we got what they call a movement control order. The World Health Organization has reported a few times, I've read online, that Malaysia has done well with checking the spread of the violence. I don't know, that's Freudian slip or what, not violence, but checking the spread of the virus, the contagion. No exponential growth in Malaysia. They had a few days where it was 100 cases, I think, or more per day, but it's been below that for some time now. So the cases are still spreading. Give you an example. On, I think, March the 18th, there may have been 500 cases. This is April the 20th, and there are a little over 5,000 cases. So I guess that's 10 times the original amount. Versus in the U.S., they went from, I think it was 4,200 cases mid-March to the 1st of April, 200,000 cases, just to give you a comparison. So Malaysia's done a wonderful job from what I can see. Went into lockdown, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, like all these governments in the world. They don't want to tell you initially you're going to be under quarantine for 2 or 3 months, because some would jump out of windows. They wouldn't do that, but they would be unnecessarily stressed. But I think in Malaysia we're in the third phase now, goes to April 28th, and I think we're moving towards lessening the controls April 28th. Although I wouldn't be surprised if they did one more 2-week extension. And I read online today, Malaysian news, that the Prime Minister is making a major report tonight. He's meeting with all the top people in government. I think he's going to say something to the nation soon. I won't hear it, it'll be in Malay, but I'll find out by tomorrow what the announcement is. It's still a problem here. It's a problem everywhere in the world. It's just not the problem here that it is in America, because they were a lot more aggressive, and they're still more aggressive. They've arrested a few thousand people for disrespecting the orders, whereas in America they can go to the park and hang out even when they're under quarantine, and they do that. And I doubt that there's a lot of social distancing for a lot of people when they go to the park. And now the Florida governor has reopened the beaches, and so it's just different in Malaysia. And I get the sense that people here are not suspecting of malfeasance by the government. I don't think they think it's a government martial law takeover, overreach of their authority. I think they're more understanding that the government is being led by the science and by the medical and health professionals. It's not politicized at all like it is in the U.S. It's Democrat versus Republican in the U.S. Here it's just everybody's on board. They were going to allow the barbershops and the beauty salons to reopen during the second phase, and the bars and the beauticians said, hell no, because how are we going to social distance? Our customers, we right up on them. They didn't want to go back to work, and so they changed that part of it. But they have let a few people, construction workers, work, and a few other people, I think, are allowed to work. But I think at the end of this month, they may loosen it a little bit more, and probably by May, end of May, nothing's going back to business as usual, but I think they'll be a lot closer to it than they will in the U.S. Air Asia is the low-budget airline like Southwest in the U.S., but Air Asia flies throughout the southeast region. I think they go as far as Australia. I know they go to the Philippines and Hong Kong, Singapore, Thailand, and countries in the region, maybe Myanmar. And I saw where they are going to start domestic flights by the end of the month, because they've been totally shut down, and then open up international flights soon thereafter. So maybe in May, they're hoping, based on the numbers, that they can start flying again, maybe within the region, which speaks well, because these borders might start relaxing. Right now, nobody in, nobody out. only people who are citizens of these nations can come into these nations, and they can't go out. So once you cross one of these borders, if you're not a citizen, you're not coming back in. And people, Americans and others who live in Southeast Asia for extended periods, they do what they call visa runs. So if you're in Thailand, you got 90 days max if you don't have a retirement visa or a business visa. You got 90 days and you have to leave the country. So they'll cross the border, go to Laos in the north, they'll go to Vietnam, they'll go to Cambodia. That's a quick one. They'll come here, stay a day or two, and they'll get another 30-day visa entry into the country. But you can't do that now. If you leave, you're locked out, you're gone. So I'm thinking if things don't change pretty drastically, maybe by June, I'll probably be looking to head back to the U.S. because I can't afford to be someplace where once I leave, they leave my luggage in the hotel, think I'm coming back and I can't get back in the country. So whatever's happening in the U.S., that's probably where I'll be headed come June. I'm telling you, this is a major, major thing. I don't feel like I'm under any stress here. Sometimes it gets a little bored, but I'm used to being by myself. But I don't feel under any physical threat. And I got plenty to eat, and that's my main concern when they said lockdown, because of course we've never been through anything like this. And Subway's down the street, they got a veggie restaurant right next door where I'm at. I can walk to the mall, you know, they have a big grocery store, I can get stuff in there. There's a Chinese restaurant I can walk to, it's about, I guess about a 15-minute walk. Everything is takeaway, but I got plenty to eat, plenty to drink, you know. People in the hotel are real cool, friendly, you know. Friendlier here than in Thailand, which I like that. The Malay people. See, I think really what it is, I'm not gonna go deep into it, but I think Malay are nicer, friendlier towards blacks especially, because you know who can't come over here talking bad about us because they have a bad reputation with Muslims around the world. So they're not as receptive to that kind of negative talk about people in the Muslim world coming from the white world, because they know how they treat them and disrespect them, so they haven't been poisoned. I'm thinking that's part of it. I'm not sure. It could be more to it. So I'm enjoying this reprieve. Now I'm thinking I better get me a wife. Honest to God, I'm gonna find me a wife. That's gonna be my goal in 2020. By the end of 2020, I'm marrying some man's daughter. I don't know if she's gonna be African, Asian, or American, but I'm gonna find one. I hope one finds me, a sweet one. I don't want no mean old woman. I don't want a mean young one. Somebody who's kind and generous and affectionate and loving and decent. That's what I'm looking for. So if you all know anybody, send her my way. Tell her to inbox me, email me, or something. But I don't know. I'm going back probably to the U.S. Somewhere in the U.S. I'm not even sure where. I don't want to go someplace where they're still under lockdown. And it looks like right now the whole country's under lockdown, which is why I'm still here, because I can leave now if I wanted to. But I don't want to leave lockdown going into a lockdown. So I think Cambodia is doing good with the numbers, if their numbers are accurate. I don't think anybody's being honestly truthful, fully truthful. And I don't think anybody actually knows. Actually, they did a report in California recently that seemed to suggest that 15 to 20% of the population has been exposed, and that's 50 to 85 times higher than the number that they had thought based on the confirmed cases. And even the confirmed cases, they may not be honest. A lot of governments, not just China hiding numbers, America's probably hiding numbers, and mainly they don't know. You know, not enough tests being done in America, that's why they don't know. And even when you're testing a lot and you find out how bad it is, some of these governments may not tell the people anyway, don't want them to panic. But it still seems like here is a lot safer in terms of the numbers and the virus. They tell you how many people's in the hospital, how many on respirators, how many in ICU, and it's not many, it's less than 100 in every case. So the healthcare system hasn't been overtaxed. And then everybody here has healthcare, government healthcare. And it's damn near free. It's like 25 cents a day, believe it or not. You may think I'm lying, but it's one ringgit if you go into the hospital for a Malay person, a citizen, 1 ringgit, which is 25 cents approximately a day. That includes medicine and everything. Same thing if you go to the doctor's office and medicine. It's 1 ringgit, 25 cents a day. Now, if you go to the private hospital, of course, it's a lot more. But I'm sure it's nothing like it is in the U.S. Okay, so I just wanted to make this quick video for anybody that's interested in Malaysia. I'm in Kuala Lumpur, beautiful place, nice people, delicious food. I like this food better than in Thai. Thai eat a lot of rice and it's lighter food. This is heavier food here. A lot of Indian food, which I love, and the Malay food and Indian food is kind of close to me. And I don't eat Chinese too much because they eat a lot of pork. Chinese love pork and rice. There's a lot of Chinese here, but when I eat their food, I make sure. And yesterday I went there, the day before yesterday, and I got noodles on one side, and then they gave me a bag of soup. And I thought they said it was fish, some kind of soup, which I eat very little fish, but I said, okay, I'm gonna try it. Got it home and looked like pork skin in there. I've seen it in Thailand, so I had to throw all of it out. But the noodles were good. It was a separate deal. But of course, Muslims, which are Malay people, they don't eat pork, so I don't have to worry about that. So this is where I'm at. So far, so good. Yeah, and I will do another update maybe in a few days for anybody that's interested in Malaysia, Asia, what it's like being in a different country during this COVID-19. Peace out.